Many of us did not have the chance to see Michael Jordan in his prime, and yet we still consider him the GOAT. But even before he entered the NBA, some already knew he would become the best. How's this even possible? Let me tell you the time when a young Michael Jordan destroyed a whole team of NBA All-Stars. In 1984, the Chicago Bulls made the best decision in their history, picking Michael Jordan in the draft. When the Illinois franchise chose him, they had an idea of what kind of player MJ was, but no one had any idea of what he would become, until his future took shape a few days after the draft. That summer, the former North Carolina player was going to represent the USA at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles, because before 1992, FIBA prohibited sending professionals to the Olympic tournament. So, in 1984, the Americans ended up with a team composed of future legends: Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Sam Perkins, and Michael Jordan. One would have to be blind not to see the potential of such a team. And to ensure the best possible preparation, these young players would train against real professionals. An NBA team, a team composed mostly of players already well known in the big time, many of whom were all-stars: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Walton, and Clyde Drexler. The American Federation planned 8 meetings between the two teams. This series took place in 8 different cities between June 30th and July 25th. These opponents could only provide good preparation for the youngsters, and they did. Because that year, Team USA won the gold medal on home turf. The most interesting thing is not really the Olympic tournament, but the preparation games against the NBA team. During this series, those few All-Stars were taken by surprise. 8 games, 8 losses, and one player stood out. You guessed it, Michael Jordan. The kid was only 21 years old and had never played a game in the professional ranks. And yet, he humiliated his elders. 27 points, 25 points, 16 points. The young man was comfortable with the ball, a very confident shooter, and also very athletic. Concretely, he was the perfect package to shine among the best. And that, he proved it well enough before and during the Olympic Games. But his performances really caught the eye of all the observers. Some even thought he could become one of the best to ever play the game. Bobby Knight, the coach of the Olympic team, went even further. He was convinced by the talent of his protege. If I were going to pick people with the best ability I've ever seen play the game, he'd be one of them. He's the best athlete. He's one of the best competitors. He's one of the most skilled players. And that, to me, makes him the best basketball player I've ever seen play. Bobby Knight, post-game interview, 1984. By crushing everything in his path as he did, MJ made a name for himself. But his greatness has given him the keys to succeed in confirming his status as a rising star. Bobby Knight was absolutely right about him. Because in the 1990s, Michael Jordan won 6 NBA titles with the Chicago Bulls, 2 three-peats, 6 trophies in which he was always the decisive player. But that's not all. Bobby Knight didn't just predict Jordan's future success, he talked about the best player he ever saw. Today, Michael Jordan is still considered the GOAT. During his years in the NBA, the Bulls' number 23 revolutionized the game. He went from a promising player to an undisputed winner, one that never gave up. He has thrilled millions of people and made basketball a global powerhouse. And by beating the best players of his era, he made a name for himself. So we can easily understand why he is still considered the greatest of all time.